Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Griffin. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker. We're so glad that you're joining us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud. All right, let's get straight to it. I'm excited again for tonight's episode. As always, we've got to start. I guess I got an email or I guess a text message earlier. It was both. I got a text message and an email earlier that we got to start paying the bills around here. So I am so happy to be presented tonight. This is Nickel City Crew here on Buffalo Fan Base Podcast Network, which is a part of the official Bills Mafia Podcast Network. We're presented by 26 Shirts. Listen, head over to 26 Shirts when you get an opportunity to. I just went over there earlier today and I clicked on the Buffalo link, and there's a shirt that literally screams my son's name, my oldest son, my Bobby, my man, like my main man, 50 grand. And I've got to get him the shirt because we love the edited version of Step Brothers. Like, DT, I'll at the crew, man. I showed my sons that, they must have been all over the floor rolling around, man. They must have been all over the floor rolling around. Holla at the crew, DT. What's up, man?
Nickel City Crew, we're back, getting through the week, teeing up for a nice matchup. That's a great movie, Rob. That's a great movie. Edited, unedited, any way you look at it. Any way you look at it.
Yeah, they're 11 and 9, man,
yeah,
and then 3.
26 shirts. Yeah, they do it right.
Go to 26 Shirts, man. You check it out. The volume 11 shirt is it's a classic. You got to pick it up, and I'm definitely grabbing it for my oldest because he loved that movie for sure, man. As we get kicked off tonight, man, I'm really excited. DT, I wanted to put a bow as we kind of get into this show tonight because I think it's important to finally take one final glance at Miami. It was a crazy game, to be honest, and the way that kind of some of the stats had turned out, it was kind of a way where you would look at it like, how the hell did you lose the game? And I think that, Ken Dorsey kind of exhibited what every Bills fan felt at the end of that game. And that's why I'm not getting on his case about the fact that he kind of had a little meltdown there that was caught on camera, because I know there was plenty of Bills Mafia, plenty of Nickel City Crew that had the same reaction. I told you guys about the story of my son who literally spiked the football in the living room and it bounced up and hit my water bottle, and literally it just spilled on the floor. And like, I didn't get mad. I wasn't upset, you know what I mean? But I was just trying to give him some perspective that, hey, listen, it's not going to be a smooth ride. It's not going to be 17-0. It could be hard. So DT, let's put a bow on Miami. Almost 100 degrees on the field. When I was talking to some people, they said, well, why did they even let them play the game? And I was talking to people that didn't even really, watch and follow football at work. And they were like, well, why did they even let them play in that? And I'm like, listen, it was equal for both teams. The Bills ran 90 plays on offense, DT. They've been talking about it all week. Miami's defense was on the field for 90 plays. You know what I mean? So listen, it was a war of attrition. It was a tough week. And listen, the Bills, they played their hearts out, man. Like, it was some bad execution for sure. And we'll get to that in a moment. But like 100 degrees in pads, like, and a helmet. Come on, DT. Like, that was crazy.
You said
Steph
it.
had like two. He had double IVs. Steph had double IVs.
I mean, crazy. Like, and yes, you do look at it like, why did they make him play there? But that playoff game, New England last year, Rob, it's -10. That's a little more dangerous, I think, than you got bare skin out in that.
Yeah, you got
for
frostbite.
20 minutes, you're getting frostbite. Yeah. So
you got frostbite warning.
It's elements. Yeah. It's a game of outdoors. It always has been, and not the first time Buffalo's played Miami. Not the first time any teams played in Miami. In that early September heat. But this, like you said, 90 plays. They control the game. They gave it all out there, and think of the energy they used for the first 2 weeks and riding high through practice in between, and everybody's, Bills Mafia in the city. Everyone's going crazy. You're going crazy. Like, you're going in a high. That exerts some energy. I think these guys were obviously hyped up, had some horrible injuries, and, obviously the horrible weather to contend with, but not an excuse. Obviously, as we talked on the post-game show Monday, we got to get it done. being, that dominant in the aspect of plays and yards. But it's good to get out of that one. We're moving on. I'm putting a bow on it with you. It's on to Baltimore.
Yeah, it is on to Baltimore, and to be honest with you, I don't feel any differently about the Bills. I don't know how many fans really honestly could feel differently about the Bills. Listen, Josh Allen missed that pass to Zeke, and he missed it. Now, was it because his hand was hurting? Was it because he was fatigued? Was it because he was cramping a little bit? How about D? How about all of the above? Like, like is that acceptable? We always are trying to dissect reasons on why everything is not perfect. Josh Allen is a human being. He happens to play football. He plays the position of quarterback in football, and he happens to play for our Buffalo Bills. He is Josh Allen. He is a person, so he's susceptible, just like any one of us would be. Now, obviously, he is a supreme athlete. It doesn't make him not human. It doesn't make him the Terminator or the Therminator, as we love so much. That's my favorite T-shirt. Listen, he's not a cyborg. He's things happen like DT, like it was 100 degrees. Stefan Diggs, the captain, had double IVs. I think he just posted it on Twitter the other day. He had a wonderful, wonderful interview with Dan Le Batard. Listen to it if you get a chance to, because it was
Yeah,
awesome. And like, listen, man, double IVs, like, come on, man, like that's not normal
yeah,
situation. We were dropping
of
like,
course not.
yeah,
Yeah, dropping like flies, laying it all out on the field, and yeah, Josh Allen isn't a robot as much as we think he is. He's
he acts
gonna.
like it
He
sometimes.
was feeling that heat too. He was feeling that
He
heat
said it
in the
was hard to
third quarter.
breathe. He said it was hard
Yeah,
to breathe.
I saw he was down on his knees getting water in like 6 minutes left in the third, and I'm like, man, we got a long time left, Rob.
I
We got a
know
long
it's
time
crazy.
left, but yeah,
Yeah,
tough game, and but they battle the elements, and they're gonna see him, I think, this weekend too. But yeah, he's not a robot. You
no.
gotta really build in and make mistakes. And man, what more though? He's the whole offense. 85% of usage
Yeah,
goes through Josh Allen, and
yeah.
man, we'd love to
We're
be
and don't steal my
ride your best,
material, man. Don't
ride it
steal my
all.
material.
But
We're gonna talk
damn,
about all of that as we get into
yeah,
Baltimore, because it is so interesting. Listen, if you've got, I saw ESPN Power Rankings, you got Miami up there, that's fine. Listen, that's fine. What goes around comes around. It's all good. Um, Listen, sit on that train if you want to. I'm still not sold on Tua. I still think what they did against Baltimore was an aberration. Most teams do not give a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter up. It just the math says that it's not likely to happen. And last week, I'm going to chalk up as again, Mother Nature won that game. I laughed with a Dolphins friend of mine today, and he had texted me and talking shit, and and I said, "Yo, listen, Mother Nature 1-0, against the Bills, but that's not something I'm going to lay at the feet of the team and what they look like going forward." Now, as we go forward, DT, we had an episode a few weeks ago, and everybody kind of laughed at me. And you told me to just back up the train and chill out. And 3-4, you said don't even ever say that number again ever. Listen, there will be a different feeling about the Bills at 3-1 after Sunday around 4:30 as opposed to 2-2. Talk to me about Baltimore. In my mind, you already. I mean, I'm on the record. I said that this was going to be a loss. Again, I didn't expect them to trounce the Rams week one. I had a win over obviously Tennessee for the home opener. Listen, this is a good team. Lamar is playing good football, and he's always been playing good football. And I know that that's been some of his defenders talking about how he's always been great, but he's a better pocket passer than he was even in his MVP season. Last year he was not great even before the injury. Lamar is putting some balls. I mean, Duvernay and Mark Andrews, he's putting the ball on the money, man. Like he's playing like it's a screw you year. Like he's trying to show management, like everything you think I can't do, I can do. In addition to what I always do, which is literally run the ball for 75 yards. First player in NFL history, 75-yard pass and run in the same game. Talk about Lamar, man. And I know I said doo-doo, but literally he makes defensive coordinators doo-doo, man. Like he makes them scared about a game plan for him.
he's a beast. He's a beast. Lamar's a beast. I love him on the fantasy team, that's for sure. Hopefully he has a bad week coming up though. But yeah, I mean, in all aspects of all the haters of can't throw, can only run, and then he's been in an NFL offense with NFL talent, with NFL offensive line, with NFL coaches for 3 years, and like he's building himself into, a superstar with his athleticism, and just like Josh Allen's doing. Josh Allen wouldn't be who he is if he wasn't as athletic as he is, obviously. So,
He's an
they go
MVP
in
too. Put
Lamar,
respect
yeah,
on his name. He's an
and right now
MVP.
MVP numbers. He has the most touchdowns, more touchdowns than the Bills as a team is Lamar Jackson. So, a force to be reckoned with for sure. But we're still hurt, Rob. Bills
Okay.
fans are
Okay.
still hurt. We're
Okay.
looking not from the Ravens in particular, but you go through years of, stinking, quite frankly, and then you have some good starts, or you have some good looks at teams, and you go into we got to play a good team in the NFL this week. We'll see if the Bills are really good, if they can be this good team. And more times than not, they got beat by them. Whatever, we moved on, but. We haven't had where we can go in and be the favorite in one of these good team matchups for too long, only a couple of years. And so coming in especially after this loss to Miami, the vibe, I wouldn't say is panic or negative, but I think it shifted to, we're going to go in and lay it down on these dudes, to, damn, Baltimore, we got injuries. Oh, it's going to be tough. We're still hurt, Rob, and the tide shifted over week. I'm not saying we're in panic mode by any means, but the tide shifted to, we're going to come in and blow up the whole deal, oh, damn, let's see if we can hang with a good team in the NFL again.
See what I tried? That's what I tried to do a few weeks ago with the first 7 games. This is the meat of our schedule. So listen, look at me as your counselor then. Bills Mafia, look at me as look at me as your guidance.
You're not charging me by the hour.
Listen, I'm not charging y'all. This is free. This is free for y'all. Listen, shout out to Drew, man. My man Drew Farrar. He's been shouting out Nickel City Crew, and you've already seen it as well, DT. He's been doing a lot of promotion for us, shouting us out. Listen, the Bills are not impervious to the league. When they say any given Sunday, Al Pacino, I know that it sounds cliche. I know that it sounds silly. Look at the scores from last week. Look at some of the games that were already finished, DT, that we knew that were done. And then when you look up at the end of the game, you're like, oh shit, wait, Detroit lost that game? Oh, wait, shit. Like, wait a minute. Atlanta? Like, what happened? Like the team Kansas City was about to win the game. Like what? Listen, the league is fickle, man. You need luck. You need a little bit of talent, obviously. You need a little bit of luck sprinkled in. You need a lot to win a championship. You really do. And throughout the year, we've been looking at the number 1 seed as a priority. I think that it should be a priority for the folks down there at One Bills Drive. I think that it is a priority. We didn't lose anything by losing that game to Miami, because I think we're going to win more games than them. But I do think that Baltimore poses a threat. I had it down as a loss, and I want everyone to be okay with coming into Monday after next week, and we're 2-2, and we've still got everything in front of us. I'm not saying that we're going to lose the game. I'm not trying to be a pessimist, but I'm trying to say that if you felt a tide shift, that means that there was a lot of Buffalo Bills fans out there, like my son Nate, who literally spiked the football. And I was like, why did you? It's week 3. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. What's up?
I'm getting heated up in some friends group chat, as it was getting a little dark this week.
Talk to me. Tell me what's happening.
I had to be like, hold up. Like, we're not doing this. Like, we're fine. Like, and as much as the tides have shifted, like to, but like not in panic mode again. I'm not overreacting here. I'm just, the sense of reality is the tide has shifted a little bit. But to this team, I don't think it has. To this team, I think it is. We're the dogs. We're going to come, not underdogs. We're the dogs that are going to eat you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we are beast mode this year. And this team wants to come dominate. Yeah, whatever. Miami's in the past. This team's ready to roll. So as much as the tides have shifted on the fan side of things, I think, Rob, I think this team's still obviously coming for you Sunday, Lamar.
Yeah, I really do. I expect the Bills to play well. I expect them to bounce back. The only thing that can actually mitigate, my father would say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So listen, the only thing that can really derail any of our good intentions coming up could be Mother Nature herself once again. We've got to deal with the fact that, the hurricane is real, and we're sending prayers out to all the people that are down there in Florida that are going through. We hope that everybody stays safe and are boarded up. And obviously we hope that they are able to ride this thing through. the storm's coming up inland, DT. I mean, it could be wet out there in Baltimore by the time Sunday comes. And if that's the case, let's again look in the mirror. The Bills have not been running the ball well at all. I think we're like last in the league, I think, in efficiency. So, like, listen, we put a lot on Josh Allen's plate, and that actually speaks back to what you were speaking about earlier. Is there too much on Josh's plate? Like, are we putting too much on our superstar quarterback's plate? I know everybody's going to switch that tune next year. I get it. When he starts getting the bag officially and that salary cap number goes up from what it is now in the 20s to 40 to in the 40s and 46, I know everybody's going to want him to do everything that he can do. And they want, and obviously you're paying Superman to be Superman. But right now, are we putting too much on his plate? Are we?
I mean, Robbie, in
He's
analysis,
our leading rusher. I got into a fight with somebody
without
on LinkedIn, a place
yeah
I'd never thought I
on
would get into a
LinkedIn.
fight. Yes, I never thought I would get into it with somebody. We were saying McDermott's trash and Bean's trash, and they didn't do anything to the defensive line. They didn't add anything, and I just had to obviously rip him up and let him know. And I invited him to listen. I said, listen to Nickel City Crew. And you're absolutely wrong about Bean. He overhauled the line. And they're all playing better. And he was just mad. He was just a mad Bills fan. But what's up, man?
Well, when you talk running, Rob, I mean, if you take Josh Allen's running numbers out of this offense, they're in dead last by far. Is this
Yeah.
Division One AA type stuff, you know? So like you gotta address that, obviously. So I'm looking forward to them. I think they know that, and they're gonna address in regard to getting James Cook going. We're gradually, after that fumble, I was nervous for his future, but we're starting to gradually see him work back a little. He had a drop in Miami game too, so there's some things he's got to, get together as well. But it's obviously so young, and I just want to see him in the open field, and think of that the break of that offense could get, the break of Josh Allen could get, because Rob, you don't take your Ferrari to work every day, you gotta
Right.
you gotta leave it in the garage. You can't
Right.
be, running that thing when you want to look good, So that's Josh Allen.
Right.
Josh Allen's our Ferrari. Like we need him to control and have his game majority and pretty much majority of the games, but there's got to be some help and breathing room for long-lasting franchise quality. And obviously starts in the running game, starts in a lot of different ways for the team. But I'm looking forward to James Cook getting going a little more and hoping that kind of helps teeter the scale a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a sloppy game and it's wet, it's a totally different atmosphere than it was down in Miami last week. We're not now dealing with the heat or anything like that, and the players are not getting all cramped up. But that's when more slips happen, and obviously we're more prone to fumble and yada yada yada. So you kind of go down the list of things that can go wrong in a slippery game. And we watched, I think it was what was it, Chicago and San Francisco. Week one, like you couldn't evaluate Justin Fields if you were a Bears fan after that game, or Trey Lance. You had to just kind of wait another week and figure out where you really stood. So at this point, if Hurricane
Now the
Ian comes
Bears.
through, what'd you
Now
say?
the Bears fans are going. The Bears fans are saying, "Well, it's not raining anymore there, Justin Fields.
It's not raining now.
You don't have to.
What are
You
the
don't have to throw for
excuses?
70 yards." But I'm sorry. Go
79
on.
yards. I know. I was like, oh my gosh, he had more incompletions. I was like, man, this is a bad situation out there in Chi-Town. So listen, I'm excited for the game. I hope, obviously, as all Bills fans do, and obviously Ravens fans, I would assume as well. We want them to be on an even playing field. We don't want the weather to come and play a big factor if it doesn't have to. We want to see quality football. If it does, the running game will probably be in prime focus. And again, Bills fans, for those, like I said, I got in a fight with somebody on LinkedIn because he said, well, Josh Allen's not a running back. He's a quarterback, and stop running him so much. And I'm like, we don't run the ball well. So we can't probably take that dog out of him on those passing plays because it's not design runs. It's the scrambles. He's not going to stop running right now. Like, I don't think, unless you literally give an edict, from the general manager to the coach on down, and everybody, literally his agent, everybody says, Josh Allen, stop running. He's not going to stop running. He's too tenacious. He's got too much intensity. He literally has too much dog in him, as the young folks like to say. He's got a dog in him, and he's way too young to stop running. When it starts to come to a certain point where his career gets older, I'm sure he'll slow down a little bit. Right now, DT, they should get comfortable with Josh Allen running the ball, because he's going to continue to do it. I know he is. He's a dog.
Yeah. And we want them to too. We say
I
we don't
know.
want
They
them
be
to when he gets
bullshitting.
tackled, but
They be
we want
bullshitting.
them
I
to.
know.
Let's go. Come on, it's electric and it's part of this offense. It's part of why Josh
Mhm.
Allen is so great in all regards. So that's something that they got to figure out as an NFL offense. The great ones do, and that's what they gotta get rolling. They gotta starts with in the trenches. We talk about it every show. Starts in the trenches. This line's got to get it together in that regard. Get back healthy and open up some holes to give these running backs confidence. In return, chain reaction to give Josh Allen some break and confidence as well.
Yeah, when we talk about it, and you just brought it up before we get off the offense, because I do want to talk about the defense a little bit with the task of Lamar coming up. But the offensive line has been much maligned in respect to the run game. I mean, Josh Allen, what was it, 63 pass attempts last week? So obviously there was a commitment from Dorsey that he wasn't really trying to run the ball as much, and we kind
And
of
they threw it 21 straight times the week before.
the week before, yeah, so he's kind of still in that Brian Dable, vein where he's going to let Josh kind of run this offense, and I have no problem with that. The only thing about the run game that I have an issue with when it comes to the offensive line is that I need you guys to be able, when it gets down in the red zone, those tight area situations. I actually do need you guys to show up big. I was surprised when the Dolphins like stopped us. You know what I mean, DT, like on at the goal line. I was surprised. Like Josh Allen down there is money. Part of the reason he couldn't get into the end zone was because there was no push. Now again, fatigue. So we're not going to continue to beat a dead horse. There's a thousand different reasons, and we had three different new offensive linemen that were on the right side, from the center to the right side to the right tackle. So it's fine. It is what it is. I still, all season long, they haven't been that great. I do need them to kind of pick it up on those short area situations where you can bang a Zach Moss in there instead of a Josh Allen. If it's, something, like, I don't want Josh taking more hits, but it really is. Like Mike Shope literally says it all the time on WGR. It is our best. It's our best play. I was shocked when they stopped us. I really was.
Yeah, and that can't happen down the stretch. You're gonna get to those situations where you're gonna need those scores, and obviously showed on Sunday. So they get down to this in a game of grit, a game of the trenches, and running around, and they're in a goal line battle with Baltimore, and they got to score down the stretch at the line. You would hope we could get the push to push 17 in or whatever. Yeah, QB sneak. You got to do it more, but it's a money. But
Yeah.
Josh Allen has got to let this offense finish, and if the run game was a little better, it doesn't even have to be great, just a
Yeah,
little
not even
better.
great. Yeah,
We're
just a
just
little
talking a
bit.
small improvement to get a game flow, because when
And
this team can get rolling with everything good happening early, they don't stop.
And that's why I definitely do not. I keep hearing. I heard on GR earlier today they keep talking about Saquon, and I'm like, listen, don't if the line is blocking shitty, then it doesn't matter if Saquon is back there or Devin Singletary. Like you could trade them straight up and then add a draft pick or two. Like it doesn't matter. You can slap the 26 and just take the actual name sticker off the back. Put Barkley on there 26. It doesn't matter if they're not blocking. It's not going to make much of a difference. So don't trade for him. Please don't trade assets for Saquon Barkley. He is not taking us over the edge. We have every ingredient, and we already thought that coming into the year. So I don't want Bills Mafia and Nickel City crew to start panicking. Do not trade assets. Do not do anything different. You don't even need OBJ damn near. Like once Gabe Davis comes back full strength, once everybody actually gets healthy, I think we're going to be totally fine. Wait till trade day come back through as we continue to move forward. And listen, since we're talking about Tre'Davious, the defense, man, listen, this is a big week. We saw Christian Benford break his hand. DT, that like how unfortunate. Like we really like this is a point where we need him. The Bills signed Xavier Rhodes, who is very familiar with, obviously, with Leslie Frazier. Used to play for him when Leslie was the coach, the head coach at the Vikings. So listen, I don't know what to expect Sunday. Again, I was a little bit nervous going into the Miami game. I guess I'm a little bit less nervous because some of the weapons are not as good. Obviously, with Duvernay and Andrews, they're great, but they're not, Hill and Waddle. What do you think? Defending Lamar from the pocket and obviously the video game running is totally separate, just like Josh Allen. It's totally separate category. What do you think from Lamar in the pocket against this secondary? Like, should I be, clutching my pearls? Like last week, I was worried, and they showed up well. They had a valiant effort.
And I would kind of go against and say, as much as you lose Waddle and Tyreek Hill with Bateman and Duvernay, I mean, they're pretty fast too and pretty good too,
Yeah, Bateman was
so they're
pretty quick
not
the
as
other
good,
day.
but you gain a lot. I believe you gain a lot more talent at number 8, and with Lamar Jackson than Tua. So you gain more talent at quarterback, you lose a little talent in the wide receivers. I may argue it's a little more daunting
Tougher
task
challenge.
because
Tougher challenge.
I'd
Okay.
rather as a defense I'd rather play against better skill players and unless
And the lesser
rather than a
quarterback.
crazy
Hmm.
quarterback. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So as we go into that, that's how I'm kind of looking at it too, and containing Lamar Jackson. But as cliche as it is,
Hmm.
McDermott has done well against
Oh,
this
I knew you were gonna
Baltimore
go
Ravens
there.
team.
I knew you were gonna go
He's solid
there.
in
I
that
knew you were
regard
gonna
of
go
containing
there.
Lamar Jackson. And this defense has only showed they can contain all year, and be
Mhm.
dominant in even in Miami, dominant
Oh
with
no, the
everybody out.
defense was
So
great.
so
Mhm.
they're there. I like the Xavier Rhodes signing. It's nice to get some at least a body in there,
Past
at least a
performances
body
don't
to
always,
yeah, yeah.
predict future results though, DT. Like this is a new year. So like
I
I have to
agree.
stay
I
on
agree.
brand.
But
Every year is
but
its
I
new
believe in this.
organism.
I agree, but this defense has only proven, they're going to be good this year. No matter who's in there, no matter what circumstance they play, it seems like they can handle it. So I think it starts again in the trenches as we go back to it. This defensive line is meaner and badder
Yeah,
than we've ever seen, I think, in
it really
Buffalo. And I'm
is.
pumped
It
for
really
them
is.
to, if they go in and hit him in the mouth early and get up in them and not let Lamar pass, we'll take them.
Yeah, we'll take him running. I know you we'll take him running. I really do feel like, Lamar he's kind of on a different level in respects to the fact that he can break your defense with one mistake. There's not many guys that can do that, and I think that has to be appreciated because of the fact that not many guys can come in and one mistake, one over leverage play, one some. I mean, that play against Miami literally looked like Madden. Like he literally made one cut, and the guy went too far outside and committed, and all of a sudden he broke attack. He was gone. I mean, there was nobody that was even going to be able to touch him because he's so damn fast. So I'm always nervous of speed. Speed kills, as they always say. The old moniker in the NFL is that speed kills in football. Speed kills. He's fast. I'm going to be watching him. I do not predict that he's going to run roughshod over the Bills. I think that the defense is going to be ready and have a game plan for him. And you're absolutely right. Sean McDermott has always had a good one for him, but I do think that he is playing on a little bit of a higher level. We'll see if the Bills have the serum for him, the elixir. Then more power to him because I want to see a Bills win.
100%. And it turns to a must win in their eyes. As much as we can't panic as fans, must win in the Bills' eyes to a division, AFC. They
The
need to get the
conference
one
opponent,
seed.
yeah, the conference opponent.
And
You need
and
every AFC win for sure. You need them
exactly
all.
on the road, make a statement, get everything back. The Aaron Rodgers relax on Monday. Everyone's good. Bills are 3-1 on the Steelers. Obviously that's ideal, but it's going to be a test. It's going to be a battle, even with weather. You got to get used to it. They played a lot of bad games last year in the weather. Tough. I'd rather be wet than 100-degree heat exhaustion too, probably. So you take that, get the run game going, get in there, and get the win. As much as you can't panic as a must win, make it a must win to relax everything going into next week.
Yeah, and I'm gonna leave you going. I'm not gonna be Freddy Krueger tonight. We did our post game show, and I mean Freddy Krueger. I would come through and just tell you, man, that there's a chance that the Bills are 2-2. And on Monday, I would like for Bills Mafia to understand, and I'd like for Nickel City Crew to understand that it's okay because everything will still be in front of us at that point. The schedule will start, it's going to start to soften up eventually. We've got to get through, we've got to get through these first 7 games. There's no, you have to play who you have to play. I don't think that Pittsburgh is a big threat. I don't think the Green Bay hasn't really looked like anything much to me. So there's some games in there that we might have thought that could be tougher that may not be. So you never know how it works. I think, and I'm in lockstep with you, DT. This is an important game. Like, listen, make a statement. What will happen on Sunday at 1:00 is that if you take care of business, and let's say it's pristine conditions and it's just a little misty out there, a little overcast, but it's not wet. It's not overly wet. What you'll do is you'll make the statement that week 1 and 2 were not a fluke. Week 3 literally was Mother Nature, an act of God. and we're here for all the smoke. We're ready for it all. And everybody that wanted to reverse course and put the Dolphins up at the top and all this other garbage. The Dolphins, I cannot wait for them to lose tomorrow. I want them to lose so bad tomorrow to Cincinnati because of the fact that I don't believe in all of this. Tyreek Hill, where was he at? Where was the cheetah that burns us? Didn't he call our cornerback shitty? Wasn't he playing against like rookie
And
corners?
still
DT?
talking after the game, and still
Yeah, and
talking
then
after the game.
calling out his next opponent. He was
Yeah,
like a boxer
nah,
calling out, or UFC, or
yeah,
just calling out Eli Apple, and he's ready for the next game. I want them to get smashed
mhm.
tomorrow. I hope that Joe Burrow has a great game. I think they're on the road, right? I think it's in Cincinnati.
In
If
Cincy.
I yeah. So listen, I want them to be beaten down tomorrow. I want Tua to get hit a few times, and I want everybody to kind of relax. Okay. I still think the Buffalo Bills are the Super Bowl contenders, the Super Bowl favorites. I will, again, still be disappointed if we are not representing the AFC in the actual Super Bowl, period. I have not changed. I have not wavered. All I've ever said is that it's not going to be a 15-2 season or probably a 14-3. It might be 13-4. I asked you guys last season if 12-5 could get the 1 seed, and it might. Look at the AFC West, DT. Look at the AFC. Didn't we think it was going to be like fireworks and July
Yeah,
4th? Look at that division. Isn't that crazy?
yeah, bumpy everywhere, and as we look back, you're right. It's not going to be 15-2. Maybe it's 16-1. But I'm just,
Like
but
the
yeah, it's
AFC West, we thought
realistic,
they were
and
going to beat
yeah,
up on each other. We thought it was going to be high scoring.
exactly.
Denver won an 11-10 game.
You know,
The Raiders are 0-3. The Chargers got
you
an injured quarterback they're sending out there at 38-10 or whatever the score was. They sent him back out on the field like dumbasses. Like, what are you guys doing? Like,
yeah,
pack it in for the night. Like, protect him.
exactly,
He's got torn cartilage. Like,
exactly.
what are you trying to
So
prove?
and doesn't that's even better to win these games to get a higher seeds. You can play these teams that are getting beat up like this, at home. It's an easy road into that, and it's not going to be easy, especially with the injuries. We saw that it's going to be a battle all year, I think, when it comes into that, because once you're hurt, you're always hurt. You know that, Rob. And even when they're back, it's going to be a little different. New guys are going to be getting hurt, and something you got to deal with in the NFL, and that's going to lead to some losses that we probably didn't think should be, but we got to be realistic with it. And as you said, if it is 2-2 on Monday, which I hope it's not, because I think it could easily be squashed with a nice win on the road here. But if it is 2-2 Monday, we should have listened to you, Rob, the doctor, a couple weeks ago,
Listen,
saying
no,
it's
and
possible,
listen,
it's
listen,
possible. But hey,
listen.
we're
Don't no, no, I'm not no, get the hell out of here with that. You're not gonna no, not on my own damn show. Listen, I am not trying to be Mr. Pessimist. I am not trying to be a Debbie Downer or anything like that. What I've always tried to do is keep things in perspective. I don't think that when you are a rabid Bills fan and your team finally gets good, there's not really much shit you could tell that kind of fan. And I know all of them, just like you know all of them, because they're on our chats and they're our friends and our high school buddies and our uncles and our dad. Listen, we finally have a team after the drought. Matt, just don't forget the drought. Bills Mafia, like, don't forget, like, that's why you feel the same way, the way that you do some of the times that you do, Nickel City Crew. It's because we haven't had water in years. In 17 years, we couldn't even drink. So when we got it, like, it doesn't matter if it's warm water, it doesn't matter if it's seltzer, it doesn't matter if it's pop, it doesn't matter. We have liquid in our mouth, and we're just so happy to actually be drinking a beverage. Listen, I'm ready for that cold water. I want that cold water. I want everyone to understand that it's not all peachy and cream all of the time. The Baltimore Ravens are a good team. They have been decimated by injuries these last couple of years. That's why the product on the field has looked the way it did. They missed the playoffs last year. They are going to be ready. I'm assuming that the Bills are going to be ready, and that's what I hang my hat on, is that they'll be ready. I predicted it before the year as a loss, and I doesn't change the fact that I hope and I'll be cheering and losing my voice for a win. So as we begin to wrap up, we are really excited here at Buffalo Fan Base. We've got a lot of big things coming up. We dabbled, DT, in our first post game. I thought it went well, man. I got some good reception on it, man. I
yeah.
liked it, man.
Definitely. It was. I think it went real well as we got, and some nice plans as we come up into YouTube next week. But
Yeah.
looking forward to it. Hopefully, we can do a post game for a win here sometime. That'll be good.
Yeah, that'd be sweet,
Change
man.
kind of the energy a little bit. But yeah, unpack it. The raw thoughts. There's a lot going through your head. The emotions are still win or lose. It's always crazy. So looking forward to that every week of digging in and unpacking the loss. It's therapeutic as well, Rob. It's good for us too.
Oh
We
my
get it
gosh,
out there.
man.
We're not
It
holding
is
it
the
in,
best.
and
It is the
get
best.
it in and let it out. So looking forward to that as well. But big matchup Sunday. But this is what the NFL. This is what you want, Rob. This
Yeah,
is what you
man.
want. You want
17 events.
17
I
going
love it.
on,
You get
balling on
17
the
events.
boys.
That's
Let's
what
go.
makes this league unique. You know what I mean? That's why I always pushed back this summer on the whole, well, if you think the Bills are going to the Super Bowl, don't focus too much on that because you'll miss the season. No, hell no, not in the NFL. You know what I mean? They had made that comment, and I had actually called in on GR to talk to Bulldog about it because he had said the one I can't remember the year. I think it was 05, 06, whatever the year, but we got good. And then it was the next year. And all eyes were on the Stanley Cup and all eyes were on the Sabres. And everybody knew that they were going to be good. And he said he literally skated through those 82 games because he was worried about the Stanley Cup and playing the, Anaheim Ducks. And that's all he was focused on. I don't really think the NFL gives you that opportunity. It literally is like crack cocaine. Turn on the Red Zone channel after the Bills game if you have access to it. It will feel like you are hyperventilating. Like there's so much action. The NFL is 17 events. It used to be 16. Obviously, we know we have 17 games. We probably will go to 18 one year down the road, way down the road. Listen, they are events. It's prime. Like everybody makes plans. Like I make my entire plans for fall and winter on when the Bills play, when are they home in Orchard Park at the Ralph, when are they on the road, everything, DT. And I know I'm not lying about that. We make our entire plans based on them for fall and winter.
Runs the life. And it's crazy. It's the most powerful business in the world, I think. If there's anybody that wants to take down the world, if you get infiltrated in the NFL, you got a good chance because they got tabs on everything, man. They literally control almost 3 days of the week.
Yeah, man, they really do, man. Shout out to Bills Mafia as we close tonight. I had actually mixing business with the Bills. I was talking to a representative today from a company, and she had said, I had just been down in Florida last week, and she said, "What was going?" She said, "Did you just say Buffalo?" And I said, and she had lost her voice. So, and I said, "Well, it's football season, ma'am. It's okay that you lost your voice." And she said she started laughing. She said, "That's the funniest excuse that I've heard all day today." You know what I mean? She was like, I said, "Yeah, I'm a rabid Buffalo Bills fan." As soon as I said the word Buffalo, shout out to Bills Mafia, shout out Nickel City Crew. I know y'all were down there. She said, "What the hell was going on in Florida?" She said, "You guys were all over the streets. You guys had all of your red, white, and blue on. She said, "I had no idea what was happening. I had to ask people." Listen, Bills Mafia, again, we are the best fans in the NFL, one of the best fan bases in the world, period. There is no better fan base in the NFL, hands down. You won't be able to argue with me, Green Bay. You won't be able to argue with me, Pittsburgh or Kansas City, or definitely, obviously not Puke Dallas. The Cowgirls, you could never talk to me about actual fans who give a shit. You guys care. You guys spend your hard-earned money. You travel down there. If you don't live in Florida already, you guys travel down there. You guys go to Tennessee. You go to Pittsburgh. You go to Florida, and you guys show out. You go to LA and like DT. It sounded on third downs. The week one, it was like it sounded like mini like Buffalo. It sounded like Buffalo when we didn't have any fans. Remember when we had like 6,000 fans for the Ravens game? That's it. What did Miller say? You know what I mean? What did he say? Murphy, excuse me. What did Murphy say? He said it sounded like 60,000. Like that's what it sounded like week one.
Yeah,
was that there was
exactly.
whole half of SoFi Stadium was Bills fans.
Never a doubt. Never a doubt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had to just tip my cap, man, because I know we travel and you travel to away games. I don't go to away games, but you do.
Yeah, no, and it's fun, and it's just such like excuse to really like let it out. Like when else could you travel in a city and kind of act like that? Like
Act the fool.
just
Yeah,
out
you'll
there
never see him again. You'll never
with your
see people
squad,
again.
with the mafia. Yeah, and everyone's there for one reason, to watch 17 deal it out to them, man.
Yeah.
And obviously the rest of the team too. But yeah, craziness, and always fun time to go down. Everyone reps. You wear your Bill stuff on the plane, wear your Bill stuff in the bars, wear your Bill stuff
Right.
at dinner.
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
just to the game. You know,
No,
you
hell
rep
no.
out. Mafia's here, you're gonna hear us. Mafia's here, you're gonna hear us. And have played in any city. The Mafia makes it fun, and it's a blast going. And maybe we'll go someday. We talked, that Vegas villa. We talked about that Vegas villa.
Yeah, I
You
know.
never know.
Yeah, before COVID, yeah,
Someday,
maybe
someday.
COVID messed it up a little bit, but yeah, we're gonna get back there in 8 years and 7 years maybe now, and like we'll get back there for sure. But it's so fun. I just wanted to give that little shout out story to Nickel City Crew, the Bills Mafia, that somebody in Texas, in San Antonio, saw you guys down there in Florida acting a fool and had no idea what the hell was going on, but she just knew that you guys supported your squad, and that's exactly what we do. So shout out to Bills Mafia again. As always, please spread love, not hate. These are my Bills thoughts said out loud. Man, give them a go, Bills, DT. Big week coming up,
Go
DT. Give them a go,
Bills, three
Bills,
and
man.
one. Go Bills, 3-1.
Okay, go Bills. Go Bills.